Hi guys, this is Linda with a look at my new Filofax. It's a personal size original model and the color is fluoro orange, and you can see it is quite fluorescent. I took my setup out of my personal size Holborn and I took the whole thing as is and put it in here. I did end up taking out a section or two, and this is what's left, and you can see it is still stuffed. And the reason it looks so stuffed is because, as others have said and will say, this tab is pretty short. And so it ends up really squeezing these together, and it's bumping against my Franklin Covey pages that stick out. That's a common issue with Franklin Covey in most of the Filofaxes, except for the Malden and maybe the Holborn. So I knew that was going to happen. Let me show you, just give you a quick tour inside. Others will have and will do unboxing videos. I didn't do that, but I took my setup as it was, as I said, out of the Holborn and put it in here. I changed the fly leaf. This is the elastic band. There's a pocket here. There was a flex type notebook that came in here, and I took that out and put in my Barnes & Noble tabs, just slipped them in the top and the bottom. And everything else is here. And I have my eclectic setup with some day timer, with Filofax cotton cream, with some Franklin Covey diary pages, etc., etc. To ease the bulk, or to reduce the bulk on this, I took out this notepad, and I knew I was going to do that because I didn't want to use it. I took out some plain sheets I had of Flavia day timer note paper because I already have blank note paper within another section. And I took out entirely my information section, and this is the section that has all of the maps and the reference tables and stuff like this. And honestly, the only sheet that I've ever used out of here is the time zone map to make international phone calls, so I'll probably stick that back in. But I love carrying this, I love having it, but I just don't use it. And so do I like this section more than I do the thought of using this Filofax? No. So out it goes. So this is the inserts as it was in my Holborn, and I put them in here. And it's pretty easy to close. I'm not having any trouble with it. As I started handling the binder, the leather started to warm, I think with the temperature of my hands, and started stretching, and so now it's much more easier to handle than it was when I got it right out of the box. And I left it clasped and closed overnight, and now this is working much, much better. I can see from where before I took out the extra stuff, that the orange here is starting to wear a little bit off the surface of the leather. It hasn't come off, but it's like it's curled up at the very edge. So I think I'm going to just be more careful when I clasp it and try not to wear that off. But I don't consider it damage at all, and it's still there. And after you stroke it a bit, it looks just like it did when I unpackaged it. So the trouble with this are the pens. To get them in. Now, I have Franklin Covey inserts, and I could use the binder clip pen loop solution that I talked about in my previous Holborn video. I could do that, but I can't. There just isn't enough room between my inserts and the edge, and the problem is that there isn't enough room because I have all of these tabs. I have my A to Z index tabs, and I have my calendar tabs. And so a pen loop that I use is going to get in the way of those. It's going to crush those unnecessarily. I would prefer not to have them crushed. And it's bad enough, in my opinion, that this thing is so short that it's crowding my Franklin Covey pages. But I knew that was going to happen, and that happened to a certain extent in the Holborn anyway. So I couldn't come up with a solution or a way to have I really need my clutter. I really use both of these pens. If I have to choose, I have to choose this one because it does have some colors, and I do a little bit of color coding. So I needed to get at least one in there. I could not figure out a way with pen loops, with binder clips, with clipping it up here, etc. I couldn't get that to work. So I said, okay, well, let's use this elastic strap for what it was intended for, which was a phone calculator pen. So I put both of my pens in there, and this one does fall out because the green one, the Coletto, raises the strap a little bit. So I use the clip and just barely clip it over there because it's flatter and smoother if it lays on its side, but then it can fall out. So I just barely clip it on rather than like this, which it adds more dimension. I just go like that. And so let's close it. It's a little more difficult, but not a lot. Here's what it looks like from the side with the pens in. There's the top again. And I mean, I have sticky notes and tabs in here, tab holders, and I could take that stuff out, but honestly, I don't want to. I mean, this is my Filofax, and the guts is more important than the outside of the binder, so, and a soapbox. But, so I have the pens in here. I'm not going to put in anything in here or in here for the moment. I have to say overall in summary that I love this binder. The leather is thick. It smells great. I'm blessed with perfect rings in this binder so far. I really like it. It's just really solid, and when you clasp it, you feel like you're holding a really solid tool, and it's just gorgeous, and I like the color. I wanted to get an orange Metropole months ago, but they were already sold out, and so when I saw that this came out in orange, I said I knew I had to go for it. So that's it. If you have any questions about this or would like to see something else, please let me know. Again, this is the same setup that I used that I showed in my previous Hallborn video. So if you have questions about what this stuff is, look at that video. If you'd like to see something else or see me try something else with this binder, please leave something in the comments and I'd be glad to help. Take care.